Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Four Lads Rangers Midweek Live. We are back and looking forward to Rangers returning this weekend, although international football was, for once, actually action-packed with incident. Gentlemen, how are we this evening? Kenneth Chris, are we well?
Not bad, mate. Yeah, pretty good.
Yep, good evening, one and all. Not too bad. I agree with you, Stevie. I think that's the solution to international games, isn't it? Just have something at stake for each match, and they might be a wee bit more enjoyable. Because that's probably, and I'm no big Scotland fan, by the way, but that's probably one of the most enjoyable international breaks that I've known ever. So yeah, I agree with you in that respect.
Yeah, we may as well talk about the game last night a wee bit, but entertainment-wise, even if you don't follow Scotland, Chris, and you're not interested as much, which is fine, understand. It's Rangers only for some people, but the quality of goals last night, Scott McTominay was 8'3" in the air when he connected with that is absolutely ridiculous. Kenny McLean's goal, unbelievable. Even Kieran Tierney's finish, and Shankland as well, which I thought was straight in from the corner. 4 different goals, but 4 unbelievable strikes from a Scottish point of view. That one from Kenny McLean, in a game, probably isn't the best one when you consider Scott McTominay's overhead kick. Unbelievable.
Yeah, as you say, you had obviously overhead kick for McTominay. Just an absolutely unbelievable goal from McLean. A stunning finish by Shankland and a tap in by Tierney. So it was all good. It was pretty impressive.
Tierney's one was definitely going wide until it was headed in. So it should have been an own goal. But
we're no in the business to praise any Celtic player, of course, but the Tierney's goal was, in actual fact, I think it's got to get. I'm trying not to be controversial, but I would say that Tierney's goal was probably the pick of the bunch, because obviously I had to really place it and then consider the time in the match and what the goal meant. But no, listen, it was just a top quality game, top quality game, and as you say, 3 out of the 4 goals just absolute worldies. And I read something about Lauren Shankland. His goal. No, I hate XG, as you probably know. I absolutely fucking hate it. But the XG Twitter account, they said that his XG for that goal was 0.99, which means that it was the perfect goal for the striker in terms of the positioning where it was and etc. And he was a free in the summer, Stevie. So yeah.
Yeah, some of us got heavily criticised last year for saying he was a no-brainer, but never mind. Danny Röhl has spoken today, explains a lot why Scott Fry becomes new set-piece coach, and he basically, I'm going to go and take the words from Rangers himself. He says it is important to understand it is not a one-man show. I need good people around me. Set pieces in general are a big part. Sometimes you have tight games, and if you need a set-piece goal, it's always great that you have good opportunities. It is about bringing things from the meeting room onto the pitch, and for this, you need a specialist. We're looking through the data. Who is the best data in set pieces? We found a short list, and I spoke with some guys, and in the end, Scott did really well in the meeting and in the interview. He's a clear idea about what he wants to do and a clear identity in the set pieces. I'm very happy to get him here. Kenny, we obviously spoke about this on Monday night a bit, but he is confirmed he is here. And that was Danny Röhl on him today and why he's here.
Yeah, and if he can bring even half of what he's done at Lincoln up here, and I know it's a level up, from, certainly a couple of levels up from where he's been at, but set pieces are set pieces, mate, and it's all about organisation. And I just hope that this helps us more than anything else, because you two will know as well as I do, our set pieces have been horrendous. And both attacking and defensively, they're just not good. So if he can set us up in a way that we look far more structured and organised, then good. And I know it works. He works with the analysts, and he works with the coaches, and it all kind of melds together apparently. So it'll be interesting to see how it goes, mate. Because if you're being honest, it's something that we probably should have anyway. If you look at, as I say, the state of our set pieces over the last 2 or 3 seasons, it's something I've been needing for quite a long time. And as I say, he's got promoted, from Lincoln to here. It's a massive step up. However, League One is a decent enough league. So if you're managing to create 30 goals from set pieces in a season, that's like a top number 9. So if you can get that along with your strikers actually finding their shooting boots and actually starting to score goals as well, it hopefully stands us in good stead. But again, if we lose a goal for a set piece on Saturday, we're all going to be raging, aren't we? So it is one of those things. But good luck to him. I hope, as I say, I really do hope that it works for us, and it's something that me personally, I'm delighted that we've got it. We'll see how he does.
Chris, Lincoln have faced 92 corners this season so far and have conceded 3 goals, and 64 goals last season, and 30 of them were from set pieces. I made this point already. When you're going to set pieces, Arsenal's maybe the template in world football at the moment, the way that they, go about their set pieces. They obviously have Declan Rice, who can cross it phenomenally well, but we need to shop in an area, I suppose, for staff and players that maybe is unrecognised, that maybe aren't at the top of their level and stuff yet, and who are making names for themselves. This boy certainly comes into that. But his stats for Lincoln show that he's got the ability. It doesn't matter where you set them up, I suppose. But not only does he do corner set pieces, he does throw-ins, he does kickoffs. This guy's, basically here to do it all, I suppose. And we need those marginal gains.
Yeah, and let's be honest, it's been something that not even just this season or last, but over the piece, pretty much since Tom Kilshaw left. It's not been something that we're great at all. I remember Clement. Again, don't know if you want to discuss that later on. Clement's new job, Stevie, your pal. But I remember Clement specifically saying when he was asked about a set piece coach, he says, "No, I want to do that." It then went on down the line of a lot of things are taken off managers. Please don't take set piece coaching off me, and you're kind of like, right, okay. And then, as you say, you see in the modern game now, certain clubs are using this type of coach. People always say Arsenal for obvious reasons, but I think Liverpool were one of the first ones at the forefront of it with throwing coaches, and you've seen a massive difference there with them. So, yeah, listen, it can only be a good thing. I'm in favour of getting that type of coaching. The stats of Fry are certainly impressive. I've seen, obviously, someone kind of retorted to Kenny's comment about a level up. I believe you're probably right in terms of the League One has the same quality of player, but I believe what Kenny was saying, not to put words in Kenny's mouth, but it's a level up in terms of players that will be working with rather than against. I don't think there's any doubt about that at all. So yeah, it'll be interesting. But yeah, the metrics of this and how you're going to grade this guy, as Kenny says, if we concede a free kick if we concede a goal from a corner at the weekend, we'll all be raging. But you can't implement change that quickly. However, that is the first thing that I will be looking to see progress from. Not how many goals that we score from corners, but how many goals we don't concede from corners. Because it is an area that not just corners, but also free kicks and throw-ins against us. It is an area that we certainly need to improve on. And again, people will look at the more kind of common set pieces like free kicks and corners. My biggest bugbear for the last 4 or 5 years with Rangers, in actual fact, maybe it goes a wee bit longer than that, is we are ridiculously bad at taking throw-ins. It is really, really, I would actually go as far as saying pathetic. There's nothing worse than, we get a throw-in down the byline, James Tavernier's jogging up to get it, not giving a shit really, and then the other team get back in their shape and marked everybody, and then that's it. And then you see other teams take throw-ins against us, and it's straight in the park, straight away. No one's had time to regroup, no one's had time to get shape. That's again where I believe we are missing a big trick there. Fast throw-ins are, for me, are the way the game's going, as well as long throws. And with this, me and you had that conversation, Stevie, when did James Tavernier turn into Rory Delap? Where did they get that from? So hopefully we can utilise that kind of long throw as well. But yeah, these are the things that I'm kind of looking at, definitely. And that's what I'll judge them on. But I think as a fan base, we need to be a wee bit patient with us, because it's not something you can implement overnight. I think, a couple of months. We'll give him a couple of months.
Fuck that. He gets a weekend, same as everybody else. And if we don't score at least 2 from corners at the weekend, then he's out. And he can just join in with the Kevin Thelwell chance. So, Kenny, Röhl also said it's not always easy to get people here, because there's also competition in the market, and in the end we could get him, and this is just fantastic for us. He's kind of hinting a wee bit on what I'm saying there, that the Rangers, are perhaps in a market where they have to bring in an up-and-coming. This guy started off as a goalkeeping coach, and he's moved into set pieces where he's found himself to be very successful at. And we perhaps had to go down levels to get this guy. And I mean that all within the most respectful way, that we can't go and get Arsenal set piece taker or Liverpool set piece taker or whatever. So we have to go and get, use the stats and try and get the guys that are up and coming, try and get the guys that maybe haven't taken that step yet, and go and take a chance as such with them. And I think that's what Röhl's hinting at here.
Yeah, and it's very similar to Danny Röhl, if you think about it as well, that we can't go and get a Premier League manager, mate. It's out with our budget effectively. So what you have to do is get that potential. You need to bring that in, and time will tell if this guy does have that potential, but his stats prove that he might well do okay. So it's one of these kind of situations that I just look at, and he also mentioned something about the budget as well. So I don't know if there's a scenario where he's got a budget for his coaching staff, and he's got to kind of look at this local coach that he's going to bring in as well. And he's looking at, well, I've only got a set amount of money to spend on my coaching team. It might be that, I don't know. But for me, it's just one of these scenarios, mate, that if you actually, if you were being honest, if we were sitting there in the Champions League, but winning leagues year in, year out, the potential that you could buy is much, much higher than if you're sitting there struggling in third place in the Premier League at this minute in time. So it's all relative, and it's all about results. And whether we like it or not, we're not the big catch that we used to be at this minute in time. There's just no escaping it. That we are not that name that people want to go and run and leave their job and come running up to Scotland, a new country, a new environment, a new league. There's guys out there that, whether people will turn around and say, well, Lincoln are nothing. They're a small club in League One, but he could go to the Championship and probably get more money than he would get with us. And that's the situation that I think that Danny Röhl's talking about. It's about getting that potential early, where give it 3 months, 6 months from now, somebody might be snapping him up, because if he was to continue to do that at Lincoln, he's already caught our eye, he'll be catching other people's eye as well. And I think that's probably what he's talking about. So I kind of do understand what Danny Röhl's saying. However, there's two ways of looking at that and saying, well, it is only Lincoln. If you're at Lincoln and you don't want to come here, what's the matter with you? So I don't know. It works two ways, I suppose.
Yeah, just a few comments. The Gratz one that Sid brings up is completely correct. I think we also, during that Panathinaikos away game, the amount of throw-ins we had, and we would get a throw-in, the camera would cut to replay the last chance, and before you know it, Panathinaikos had another chance because we'd thrown it straight to them. So, yeah, the optics of it, he used to work with Kevin Thelwell, so Kevin Thelwell's going to know him, which kind of throws a wee bit of a shadow on it. But I'm choosing to go with the stats on this one, because if he wasn't known to Thelwell, we'd all probably say it's quite a good appointment, given that the numbers he's put up. Moving on slightly, Stevie Smith remains the local coach for the moment. Not a full-time appointment. Danny Röhl does mention it. As we spoke about on Monday night, Stevie Smith is working full-time with the first team at this moment in time. He is in the running for the job, but that position hasn't been filled yet. They are still considering options. I think they probably thought that this set-piece thing was more important, so they've focused on that. I think also this might be a kind of testing ground for Stevie Smith, Chris, that they just let him have a run at it. Maybe impressed with how he led the team and things during the international break. So they've let him have a kind of run at it now that Danny Röhl is in, see how they work together and see how Danny Röhl gets on with them. I won't be surprised if Stevie Smith does get that full time. But at the moment, it's temporary. He is working with them full time, 24/7 with the first team. He's stepped away from the 19s duty, so he's well in the running for that.
Yeah, look, I wouldn't be surprised either. I think you're spot on, Stevie, in your assessment in regards to the priority was the set piece coach, and they took their time over this so-called local coach, if you will. And if the answer's already in the building, there's no need to waste time and resources elsewhere. It's difficult to really comment on it because I don't really know much about Stevie out with his playing career, if that makes sense. Done a reasonably okay job with the 19s, but then, you know, what's his KPIs there? There's many came through, probably not as many as we like, but there's still been a few that's come through, so you can look at that. I mean, we're not exactly smashing teams every week at 19s level. We're competitive, but I think we should be a bit more competitive. But is that really on Smith? I don't know. And then you look at the step up that he had. You know, I think he really did get a tune out as in the first half against Dundee United. Second half, the players done what the players have done all season, so you can't really blame him for that. So, look, there must be something about him. There must be something about him. And the one thing that I definitely do know about Stevie Smith, without any shadow of doubt, is he is a Rangers man. He knows what the club is all about. He knows what it takes to play for the club, and he knows what it takes to win trophies with the club. And really, I think that, I don't want to say that's the main thing for this role, but that's the one thing that they really want, as well as the coaching ability. So he obviously ticks a lot of boxes, and yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he did get it. But the names that were going about sort of went quiet. Obviously, there was talk of Stevie Davis and Lee Wallace and a few others. It's not going to be the best coach in the world that comes into this role. A local coach is someone with a very specific set of skills or experience, and it's more to do with knowing what the club is all about and how they can help players adapt to this, because obviously that's the biggest issue at the moment. The players haven't really adapted to playing for Rangers and understanding what Rangers is all about, and having that kind of link between that coach and the manager could really, really help. And I believe that's the idea. And obviously, with Danny Röhl's situation, being an outsider to this league, this type of coach could also help identify certain types of players and identify certain tactics to use against these types of players. So again, I can't really say much more than I have. I wouldn't be surprised if it was Stevie Smith, but we'll wait and see. And in a way, what I will say about Stevie Smith is I'm glad he's getting this opportunity to have an audition, because when he was coming through, it was him and Alan Hutton came through at the same time. And everybody remembers Alan Hutton, and everybody talks about Alan Hutton because obviously Alan Hutton had a better career. I'm not exaggerating. Stevie Smith was a better player. Stevie Smith was desperately unlucky with injuries. So he deserves a wee bit of luck with Rangers, and hopefully now he's getting it.
Yeah, probably a controversial opinion at the end, because Hutton made it whereas Smith didn't. But I agree with you. Stevie Smith was as close as I've seen to a Newman, David Robertson type left fullback. He was marauding. He was absolutely exceptional. Think probably in terms of his style was closer to Davy Robertson, but just a fantastic fullback. What I will say about Stevie Smith is Stevie Smith's a top professional. Absolutely loves Rangers Football Club. Understands completely the league, understands the requirements, understands what it takes to win at this football club as well, which he's done it. So yeah, not many players come through under Walter Smith as well, and Stevie Smith was another that made his kind of breakthrough there in times as well. So look, I like Stevie Smith. He's done a lot of work for this channel. He never asks for anything. He's always available. He's always prepared to come on. He always speaks well, always got time for us. So, I'm a big fan of Stevie Smith. And whilst I don't know the position at the club with coaching and stuff like that, I do certainly wish him all the best. That's for sure. Kenny, moving on to the first team news. Starting with, I suppose, negatives on the international duty last night. Derek Cornelius played half an hour for Canada versus Venezuela and then came off. John Souttar injured in the warm-up, we think, for Scotland, didn't play, had to change, and Grant Hanley played. It's all right saying John Souttar's not a great player or whatever, and I think we've all had a bit of a kind of relationship with John Souttar recently where he's not been great, and we all recognise that. But that's our two first-choice centre-backs. And it doesn't leave us with an abundance of options. You've got Giga, you've got Manny Fernandez, you've probably got Tav that can play in there. Clinton Inciala can come in there. And honestly, an Inciala, Fernandez, Giga back three, is not one for the faint-hearted, I would suspect. So we paid a lot of money for Fernandez. We need to see him at some point. We're told that injuries are the reason he hasn't played. So, we do need to see him at the same time. It is Levy, Braga then come to town, then we've got Falkirk, so it is at least home games. But that could put us in a potentially difficult spot.
Yeah, it is a situation that you don't really want, isn't it, when two of your centre-halves come back and they're injured. So hopefully the Souttar one's just a precaution. I don't know what's happened with Cornelius at all. I haven't heard anything about that apart from they come off after about half an hour or so. And it leaves you a little bit in the shit for Saturday. There's no doubt in that, because you're looking at Tav probably having to fill in at right centre-back, but left centre-back's a bit of an issue. So I would probably go back to the four at the, a two centre-halves, put it that way, and give those two as much time as possible for the Braga game, because you'll need them for that. With all respect, I know we're pretty much out of Europe, but you want to get something out of that game. So I'd be giving them the extra time if they're coming back, even just with knocks or injury, tweaks or whatever. But it's the chance you take in international duty, isn't it? These guys are going to come back. So every now and again, they're going to come back injured, because international duty or international football is fraught with danger and that. We're not in control of that, and there's nothing we can do. But yeah, it's Livingston. I would be looking at it and saying, I don't really mind who plays. We should have more about us than Livingston do. But it isn't ideal. And John Souttar is one of those guys. He's been in that team every single week, so you don't know how unsettling it's going to be for everybody there, because we're not the best at the back. Let's be abundantly clear about it. We're not superb. So I don't know. It's just one of those things, Stevie, that for me, as I say, Tav instantly fills in, and you've got one to choose from, whether it's Fernandez or Giga. That's the two I'd be going for. I know Inciala is naturally left-sided, but I just don't see him featuring at all for whatever reason. He's just nowhere near it, is he? So I can't see that happening.
That was an inspiring chat, throwing all those names about. One name that is back though, Chris, is Dujon Sterling, given a bit of a. He's been back in training for a few weeks now, but he was given a bit of a push today on Rangers social media. A few clips of him over 90 seconds, kind of showing that he's back and fit, and we can only presume ready for the first team. I really like him. As I said, though, the problem is he's built like a rich tea biscuit, and he just can't handle anything, 2-3 games and he picks up an injury again. And this has been quite a long one. So I really want Dujon Sterling to be fit. I thought Dujon Sterling was a natural player to take over Tav. And he should have, by now, he kind of began to phase Tav out of the team, but he's just never fit. And that's the issue with him. And he's a player that I like. Can we get something out of Dujon Sterling? He's still got 2.5 years on his contract.
Yeah, I agree. I really, really like Big Duj. It's just a shame that his body, it looks like his body's not quite up to the rigorous demands of football. What I will say is, John Souttar was similar. He went 2-3 years where he just couldn't catch a break, and Rangers look to have sorted that issue, albeit kind of had a mini breakdown with Scotland just there, but we seem to have got to the bottom of what was wrong with John Souttar. So hopefully this extended layoff, now I know it was his Achilles tendon, so it's a very specific injury, but it also gave time for Rangers to really assess what the real issues are with Sterling. Is it diet? Is it lifestyle? Is it muscular? Is it skeletal? You know, all these different things they can look at. So I'm hoping that, you know, he's going to come back robust as ever, because let's be honest, he's going to come back and immediately improve us. He's a brilliant player. He can play in a lot of positions. But I had a conversation earlier on that this is how ridiculous this is, and I'm not to bring the tone down, but this is how ridiculous this squad building is. We could potentially have a back four of Aaron, Sterling, Tav, and Magoma, four fullbacks. I mean, that's just, I don't even know. What more can you say? But Sterling, if he's fit enough to even play half an hour at the weekend, that'll be a massive boost, because then we can just start easing him back in. But yeah, I'm really happy that it looks like he's finally coming back. In terms of Cornelius, I think that I wouldn't take the deal on him if this continues. I think that's now 3 matches in a row now he's went down and wanted to come off, and in actual fact came off. It looks like his body's not quite up to the demands, and again, it's a bit of a shame because I actually don't mind him. I actually feel he's been one of the better signings. Would go as far as saying he's easily the best defensive signing we've made, but his body doesn't seem to. With these players, it's really difficult to tell. Kamal Roof is really guilty of us. Is it the body that's letting them down, or is it them not trusting the body, so they're preempting it? I don't know, but yeah, it looks like Cornelius is going to be a bit of an issue for someone to rely upon. So look, it's positive news that Sterling's back, and hopefully we can see him at the weekend in some capacity. But I notice you didn't mention the other 2 guys that were in training, Stevie, Matondo and Dowell. Do you know what, a wee comment on them being back? You excited to see Robbie?
Kenny, what do you think of Dujon Sterling, mate, returning to training? It's got to be a boost in the first team. And Chris said as well, Kieran Dowell and Ravi Matondo returning. They would be on a list to be moved out in January. No disrespect to either of them. So no excitement there. It'll be some laugh when they do storm back and start scoring goals under Danny Röhl and I'm made to look like a tit. But you know, if Rangers are winning, I'll happily accept that. I think the chances are quite thin. Probably up there with Chermiti wanting to go to the World Cup with Portugal next summer. But Kenny, yeah, Dujon Sterling is back. I'm going to take that as a real positive because he is, as I said, a player that I really like.
Well, I wouldn't worry too much about you looking like a tit, mate. That's not going to happen. Those 2 are not doing anything for Rangers at all. Rabi Matondo, the forgotten man, 30 grand a week, whatever it is, 28 grand a week. Eh? Fantastic. Dujon Sterling. Yeah, I'm like the 2 of you. I just think it's one of those things that I really like him. I think if you remember back to the first season he was here, he played just about every position apart from goalkeeper. He did it pretty well. Versatile guy. I think that went against him in terms of he could have at that point probably pushed Tavernier out of the team. Like, you know, I certainly rotated with him if it wasn't for the fact that we had injuries at centre back, at left back, in the centre of midfield. He played left mid, he made right wing. He was playing all sorts of places. And he is one of those players that I would love to see fully fit. He's an athlete. Unfortunately, as Chris and yourself have both said, he's one of those guys that you just can't rely on by the looks of things. And I don't think he can rely on his body. But that's not unusual at Rangers, isn't it? It's what we tend to buy or sign. But for me, I actually think he's probably his most naturally at this minute in time for us, if I was going to play him anywhere, I would want to play him as a number 6. So it's kind of difficult to see him being able to do that immediately. And I think with 2 right backs and a number of centre halves, you can certainly ease him in. And I don't see him coming back. But it was a bad injury he got, wasn't it? It was his Achilles. So that's a bad injury. If it was that, I think it was, if I remember right. But that's something you need to take your time with, mate, because it's such soft tissue there. You know, when it goes, it's a danger. It can come back. So although he's training it, I would imagine they'll take their time with him because, well, as you say, 3 games and he'll be out anyway. So it's one of those things that I think he's a fantastic player, a really likeable guy as well. Loved his Instagram and stuff like that as well. So good luck to him, and I hope he makes a full recovery and gets himself right into the squad. But I don't see it happening anytime in the immediate future. I think you'll probably see him more towards the turn of the year. And he might make the half hour, as Chris said, but that'll be it.
Yeah, we could do with some work, that's for sure. Quick international roundup. Aside of that, Kelly and Barron obviously were involved in the Scotland squad but never got game time. Asgard came off the bench as Norway thumped Italy 4-1. Nico Raskin played both games for Belgium as they qualified for World Cup next year. Miovski scored for North Macedonia as they had narrowly beaten 7-1 by Wales. Chris, interestingly, on that goal, it was a high line, Miovski in behind, running onto the through ball and finishing mirror image to how he played for Aberdeen, and probably why he did so well for Aberdeen. Against us, we were always a high line. He always played in behind. He always finished. Miovski can score goals like that. The issue I've always had is whether he can score goals for Rangers. And as much as I enjoyed seeing him score last night, because he needs the confidence boost, I couldn't help but be a wee bit disappointed in a way, because I feel that's how he is based and how he should be used. But teams don't play like that against Rangers, and it's going to make it really difficult for him.
Well, in actual fact, the ironic thing is the teams that do play against that, the teams that do play against us like that are
he doesn't play.
The games Miovski doesn't play, so he's not really had a fair crack at it, and it's not his fault, and he's had a lot of criticism. For me, a wee bit unjust because of the exact reasons. We know what he can do. He's one of those players that we know what he can do, and it's not as if he's underperforming. We're just not playing to his strengths, and the difficult thing is it's difficult to play his strengths because we need the opposition to come out. So yeah, it's looking like a bit of a weird signing now. To be honest, I was really excited by Miovski, but to get the best of him, we need to be creating so many chances in and around that penalty box just to give him a chance of getting a finish or two, and the team doesn't have that in them yet. So there's still time yet. There is still time yet. But I'll tell you what, just as Alan says, Miovski starts for me every week ahead of Chermiti. I do not care about price tags or whatever. You know what you get out of both, and I would rather Miovski than Chermiti, because there's been a few instances now with a high line, ironically, again, where Chermiti's went through 1-on-1 and he's never finished. And you always say to yourself, if that's Miovski, he's probably going to finish that, and he proved it against Wales. Well, it was a very, very tidy finish, placed as well. That's what I like about it. He didn't panic, placed straight into the corner. So hopefully, we can see more of Miovski. But yeah, it's not looking great. But let's see. I'm going to give him time more than maybe Chermiti, but that's because I know what Miovski can do.
Yeah, others that played. Oliver Antman scored in a friendly for Finland against Andorra while playing at left wing back. Chermiti, Moore and Meghoma all represented their countries at unders levels as well. And as lots of people have said in the comments, Nadim Bayrami played twice for Albania. I watched him against England. He was fine. Played on the right-hand side. Was he great? No, probably not. England are obviously a very strong outfit, one of the favourites for the World Cup, I suppose, next year. So him, tearing it with shreds was never going to happen. Nadim Bayrami, ironically, was one in pre-season that looked pretty decent under Russell Martin, and then obviously just didn't get any game time at all, a bit like the old Danilo situation, played quite a lot and then was bombed out. I think Nadine Bayrami moves on for us in January, Kenny. I just don't see him ever being good enough. I don't see him ever settling in our team the way he should. So a lot of people say maybe we should think about trying him here, there, and everywhere else. We've already tried him here, there, and everywhere else, and he's just never really worked for me.
No, I know what you mean. I quite like him, oddly, as a player. I think there is a player in there. I just don't think it's working here. I think there's issues with him where I think the best that we've seen him at was when he first got here, was over on the left-hand side, oddly. I thought he was pretty decent over there. Scored a cracking goal over there up at or against Aberdeen. I can't remember if that was home or away now. I think it was away. He scored a cracking goal. But you've just not seen enough of him. I think he's done all right. Even defensively at times in Old Firm games and stuff like that, he's done pretty well. But he's just not consistent enough. And you don't see... He's one of those guys that flits in and out of games. But I'll tell you right now, if I'm being honest, if you're giving me the option of him and Tello Asgard at the minute, I'm picking Bayrami, I think, because I've just seen nothing out of Asgard that makes me think he's going to be any better. I think they've paid similar kind of, was it about 3 million for Bayrami, 3.5, and 4 million for Asgard. I don't think there's much between the two of them, and the two of them don't offer enough. So it makes to be honest, it makes the Tello Asgard signing a wee bit more peculiar for me, where you've got a guy that's actually very similar. He might not have the physical stature, but he's a very similar type of player. And if you remember back to a few years ago, we had about 45 number 10s. We're in a similar kind of situation where we've got a fair number of similar players in similar positions. So, no, I totally agree with Bayrami probably. If you could get him moved on, and he might well want to move on in January because I think they made the playoffs, didn't they? So for him to secure his place in his national team, and I know he's in the national team, but if he's not getting games at all, they might well drop him. So he'll want to make sure he's getting football more time anyway. And as I say, if I'm being blunt about it, though, there's quite a few that I would look at and say that you could move on in January if you can get even your money back on. And yeah, Nadine Bayrami is definitely one of them.
Yeah. Other news, Philippe Clement is the new Norwich manager. I think we all wish him well. It didn't work here. Chris, we had a laugh about his press conference. What was the words he used? He said he likes to play high press and attacking football.
Aggressive press to score plenty of goals. So, yeah.
If he did manage it with Rangers, I'm not sure that Norwich is. It's a bit. I just don't see that working. I really don't see it working. I wouldn't be surprised if he came in for a few of our players. Philippe Clement, I think it's the least he can do. So maybe we'll come back and rescue a few of them. But it's one I think we all wish him well. But Chris, as we kind of round up the show, Rangers are back this weekend. 3 wins on the bounce in the league has been welcomed. We go into a league run now where we have Livy, Falkirk, Dundee United away, Kilmarnock away, Hibs at home, Hearts away, and then I think it's Motherwell at home at Christmas time. That's a real run there where Rangers now have to power on. They have to motor on if there's going to be anything. Not only that, the players that have come in that we've invested a lot of money on, they get their fingers out. They need to start getting going now, and I include the Miovskis, the Antmans, the Asgards, and Chamitis, all Rothwells, and the likes. Every one of these guys, if they want any chance of saving their Rangers career, they need to start now. And Rangers need to go on a run of results. Now, previously we looked at that calendar and said, that's quite positive. But they've not really given us the evidence that they can go on a sustained run. We are starting, and I really want Danny Röhl to do well and be successful and keep that going, and then the belief and the confidence will come. But, every game's vital, every game's big, but they really need to start right now, going on that run, continuing the league run going, but going on this run of the next 6 or 7 games, getting to January and then being able to go, right, we can take stock of where we are, because naturally, no matter what happens above us, we will claw back points on teams because they all play each other anyway, and we play them too. So this is it for Rangers. Rangers somehow, they should have been miles out of it. They somehow aren't. They've got a small chance of clinging on, but that's all it is. But if they're going to prove that, they really need to start now. And I suppose that's what excites me, as well as, the reality of it kind of kicks in as well.
Yeah, and I would say, obviously, you're discussing certain fringe players now. This is their time to really stand up, and if they want a future with us. I would note caution on, not a bit of caution to Danny Röhl. Don't fuck about with the team here. You've got a bit of a formula that's winning. You're getting results. Just the players that have been playing for you the last couple of games and winning matches, you stay with them. Obviously, there's some enforced changes with injuries at defence and stuff, but I would actually be a wee bit disappointed to see a random change like on Saturday. Ant-Man comes in from nowhere. Like, he's not done anywhere near enough to merit that. And Ant-Man, his role in the next couple of games for me is coming off the bench and showing that hunger and desire that way. So I fully expect 4 wins in a row this Saturday. Anything less than that is not good enough. I don't care if you don't think the team or the player are good enough in terms of who we've got. We should always, no matter what situation we're in, we should always be beating Livingston at home. And people can say that's disrespectful. I don't care. That's just the reality. So anything other than a win, and I'm not going to say a comfortable win. Don't care about a comfortable win. I just want a win. If it's a 1-0 last minute goal, fine, whatever. Not even looking for a performance, as I discussed last week. Performance is very much secondary for me. Just keep racking the wins up, keep putting the points on the board, and as you say, naturally that gap should reduce until such times you actually have to play them directly, which is coming up for both the teams ahead of us. So, look, we've got a favourable run. We've got a favourable run in the league. As I say, I'm not fussed at all about the Europa. In the league, there's plenty of opportunity there to put points on the board. So, yeah, I'm weirdly actually looking forward to the next couple of weeks as a Rangers fan. Probably the first time this season, if I'm really, really honest with myself. So yeah, it'll be interesting. But spare a thought for me, Stevie. 7:30 starting Saturday. Shanghai Port are playing to win the league, so I'll be there on YouTube.
Oh Christ! If we wish Kevin Muscat obviously all the best, and we hope he does win it. But there'll be an unbearable stream of emotion from your X channel, that's for sure, and a lot of this is what we could have had.
Not at all. Hey, it's when Danny Röhl inevitably leaves Rangers to go to Man United next year, then his chance might come up again, Muscat. So, yeah.
I think Kevin Muscat,
that's as positive as I can get.
If Danny Röhl leaves to go to Manchester United, that means we've done the unthinkable this year. So I'll take that. And Kevin Muscat, I'm pretty sure, will come round for Rangers again at some point. That's for sure. And that Wednesday show, when it finally airs, will be a cracker. Kenny, Rangers back in action. And yeah, it's I suppose the same question to you. That there's no time to wait anymore. This is it for Rangers. This is the run. This is the games coming up. This is a chance to build. This is a chance for the players to kick on. This is a chance for everyone to kind of put a marker down in these next coming games, which will be difficult. We're in no divine right to win anything or do anything. But what I'm trying to say is, no fucking about anymore, Rangers. This is it. If you do want a successful season of some sort, this is it right now. And Rangers have to grasp this opportunity that they shouldn't have. But, they actually are still within the boundaries of being in this league title run. So if they're going to have any chance, this is it right now.
Yeah, well, Danny Röhl seems to be quite a disciplined student, doesn't he? He's trying to figure out as much as he can about Scottish football, about the club and stuff like that. So this international break might well have helped him a little bit. He might have had a look at other teams in the league, particularly Livingston and Falkirk, the two that are coming up. So I don't envisage too many problems. I don't want to sound arrogant or anything like that, but I genuinely don't. And I know as we've discussed, we might have a couple of injuries at centre half, but we should be going out on Saturday and dominating that game and getting the 3 points. I have No doubt about it. And I agree with Chris. I'm actually quite looking forward to seeing how we do from here. We discussed it on Monday, Stevie, that, you know, if you look at it and realistically, the next 6-7 games are real crunch time for us. And you need to take maximum points, really. And if we were to do that right from here, right through to the turn of the year, then all of a sudden you do find yourself back in the mix. But one game at a time. So I'm not getting carried away and suggesting that we are going to do that or anything like that. We know where we've been this season, but at the same time, Chris has already said it, and he's right. It's a decent run of fixtures for us, so we really do need to go and maximise the points that we're going to get, because nothing else is going to suffice, mate. It is that simple. If we keep winning, we'll be there or thereabouts, and I'm looking forward to it Saturday.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, we certainly are. I cannot believe we've managed to get 45 minutes out of this show. We've done our very best to bring you a show this evening because we didn't have a lot to discuss. A few bits of housekeeping to finish up with. A few people have asked, I spoke about this on the last show, we are taking our live podcast to Belfast, and we will be in Belfast Saturday, the 28th of March, playing the Belfast Rangers Supporters Club, which is on Barrington Street, I think they call it. So we'll be there. We'll do obviously more promo nearer the time. Myself, David Edgar, and CJ Novo are playing Edmondson House on January the 9th, a live fan media podcast with the three of us. So we will be there. Tickets are on sale for that. All the seating, I think, is sold out now, so it's just standing left. So not a lot of tickets left, folks. If you want to grab some, they're doing really well. So we're really pleased on that. With regards to ourselves, a few people have asked where I get my t-shirt from, what top I'm wearing. This is a Four Lads Rangers podcast t-shirt, and you can get them. They're actually made for us by Copeland Streetwear. So if you would like to get one, just pop onto their website, copelandstreetwear.co.uk. We do not make any money, and neither do Copeland Streetwear. Any money out of this gets donated to our academy, Rangers Youth Development. We do not take any money from sales or anything else. So I just like them. So I bought some, and they are just brand new on the website. You can get cups and mugs and all sorts of other tat if you're interested. If you like the podcast, then it also supports Rangers Youth Development. I don't really get them to put them on sale as such. You can get hoodies and t-shirts with our logo on it and everything else, but it's just a thing that I want to do. So also a huge thanks to everybody that's used the affiliate code in Castor over the weekend. We got that sorted last week with Castor because I hadn't been doing it in ages. They contacted me, so we're back sorting that out with the affiliation. We do not take money for that either. All our money goes to charity. I think we've donated upwards to £1,500 to £2,000 of affiliate money to charities all across Glasgow and the club as well. We have generated £400 over the weekend from everybody using our codes. Once that clears, it normally takes a few months. We'll put that into charity, and we'll keep building it. We'll keep putting the codes and the reductions up on the run up to Christmas as well. So keep an eye out, folks, because I'm pushing them to give us a reduction on the orange strip. That's what I'm pushing them to do, so that I can buy one and people can get some money off it as well. So hopefully we'll do that, and hopefully we'll get that sorted out in the coming weeks. So keep an eye out for that in the run up to Christmas. I think that's us. So thank you to everybody. Genuinely, all the support on the podcast, we really appreciate it. Everyone that signs up to be a member, and all the support. I think we're 700 strong. If you want to become a member, just click on or scan the link in the top corner. That'll take you straight to our membership for as little as 99p a month. You help us. Kenny, by the way, have you used your new laptop? You better say yes.
No. Listen, I'll tell you a wee quick story. I was trying to use it for an hour. I can't get onto StreamYard with it at all, and I don't know why. I can go on to anything else. StreamYard I cannot get onto.
What kind of laptop is it?
It's a MacBook. Right.
So are you using Safari?
No.
So if you use Google Chrome, you can get on, because I'm on my MacBook and it's Google Chrome.
I'm on a MacBook right now, mate, and I can get on it. I can't get on with that one.
No, I'm
sorry.
saying
You just moan, Kenny, about having a laptop that works. So I go out and get it for you out of our Four Lads fund, and you just don't use it.
No. It's sitting right there on
I want
charge, mate.
See when this
And
finishes, I want to speak to
I can
Tracy.
get on to StreamYard on this MacBook Pro. You got me a MacBook Pro that's exactly the same as this one, and I can't get on straight. When I press StreamYard, it just comes up a blank screen. It's the weirdest
Are
thing.
you using which? Are you using Safari or Google Chrome?
Google Chrome.
You're just saying that.
No, I'm not. I'm not, honestly.
Right, well, I don't know. I think, yeah, aye.
Honestly, see when this finishes, I want to speak to Tracy. Like when this finishes,
Yes.
let's end the podcast.
So I'll be doing something silly, but it's not that. I'm definitely using Chrome.
Well, can I just say, right? I've just found out live in air that you got a fucking MacBook and I got a T-shirt. you tell me that I'm Stevie's favourite.
Aye.
Right, on that note, that took a sail. That took a turn in a direction I didn't expect it to, ladies and gentlemen. But fucking buying my laptop and he can't even turn it on. What's the point? Should have given him the T-shirt. Right, on that note, thank you to our sponsors, Röhl Express, Clyde Fire Protection and Joinery, Athol Industrial Solutions, CSD Air Conditioning, and our new sponsors, Candy. Our partners, Black Rooster and Art of Gold. Folks, if you're a member and there's 700 of you, go and play the Black Rooster competition. I'm going to put it up in the next hour or so and predict the scoreline for the weekend. There should be 3 different ones coming up. We play Livy, Braga and Falkirk, so get your predictions and stuff in, and you could win some free scran. And nobody's done it yet because Rangers have been absolutely shite and predicted Rangers wins, and they haven't done it. So let's try and rectify that over the next couple of days. We'll be back Friday night. I think later time, 8:30, because Andrew is going to be late, so later time for that one. So please join us. Back for the match day vlog on Saturday as well. Sunday show is back on Sunday. And then Monday night, we have a special podcast. It is myself, Davey Edgar, and CJ Novo. We'll be live at 7 doing the flagship on 4 Lads. So, yeah, action-packed over the next few days. Good luck to the team at the weekend. Let's go on a wee run, Rangers, and cheer everybody up. And maybe Rangers will win and Kenny will learn how to turn on his laptop. Good night, folks. Take care.
The 4 Lads podcast is sponsored by Rhino Express, Clydeview Joinery, Athol Industrial Solutions Limited, and CSD Air Conditioning, in partnership with Black Rooster and Art of Gold. Thank you for listening to or watching the podcast. We hope you enjoyed the show.